Okay, here's my Joker review. And first thing I would like to say, I got a lot of points I want to make. Uh, First of all, I'm disappointed. Not in the movie, but the critics. They told me there was going to be a bunch of violence in this movie. Painstaking violence all over the place. There wasn't that much violence. Only a few key scenes, but I'm like, wow, they made this sound like it was going to be something that was going to haunt me for the rest of my life because it's so violent. And it wasn't even as violent as Deadpool's bridge scene where he counted the bullets. That was a way more violent scene than the entire Joker movie. But here's my review on it. And I just want to get to the stuff that I did not like first. And maybe I'm the only one. I'm upset that there wasn't more violence. And some people say not that it was needed, but it's like, wow, see more things going on as Gotham is, burning down. I don't mind it. I watched John Wick. I watched all three of them. I can handle a little bit more. And I wish there was more Joker in the movie. We get Joker, and let me say this. This is a spoiler review. I forgot to say that, but we get more Arthur Fleck than Joker. I wish there was more Joker in the movie. And I know this is an origin story, so I just wish the Joker and Arthur Fleck would have got equal time on the screen, because when the Joker finally comes out, when he's finally revealed his inner self, his true self, it's like you want to see more of him. What would he do next? And we saw a lot of Arthur building, but I'm like, the movie's called Joker. Can I please see more of the Joker? Can we get him to do more things? And one thing that I think Todd Phillips got right, but I think he missed the boat. One thing that makes the Joker special is his speeches. One thing that makes Dark Knight special is that they gave Heath Ledger time to tell speeches, to give you what he's thinking at that moment. It may be the wrong thing. It may be something totally crazy, but they give him time to give you a speech and let you marinate on his words and feel the fear and feel the sense that there's hopelessness. Of course, before Batman comes in, but the only real speech we got, besides maybe the couple therapy sessions that he had, but the only real speech we got as Joker was the ending scene where he's in the TV studio with Robert De Niro's character. And I think that's maybe the biggest shame of the movie, is that we didn't let him go, in a sense, full Joker and give great speeches and just terrorize the town a little bit more. But as far as the way the movie was done and the movie was crafted and the stories that they told in between, I thought it was genius and brilliant. As Todd Phillips said, it is a slow burn. You get to see his life in a quick vacuum, but you get to understand his entire life, who he is, who he was, and how he became the way, he ended up being. And I know a lot of critics were afraid of this movie. If the critics just based the movie on what it was instead of what they thought it would become in people's minds, maybe people would have had a better expectation, because I was looking for unbelievable John Wick style violence that would haunt me for the rest of my life, and I didn't get it. And that's the only thing. I get. This is why maybe we should not release reviews before the movie comes out. Just have a big review day, because a lot of different critics were afraid. They were scared. And I saw this movie as just a regular movie that had some violence in it. It wasn't anything over the top. And as far as how they did the messaging of the movie, I think the real message of the movie is that there is no message. The way Arthur Fleck tells his stories, of course you've seen the movie by now, is very weird. You don't know what's real, what's going on, and what's really happening in front of you. And that's him slowly losing his mind. He stopped taking his medication, and I just thought it was beautifully well done. It's a definitive origin story, but it's not really definitive, because what is real and what's not. I know people have ideas. I think the movie should have ended with him standing on that car, because that is I think the best way, if you're going to tell this type of story, is the villain wins, at least for that moment. But then they cut to the scene, and this is what I got to say about it. A lot of things were implied in this movie, and this is where I said about the violence. I know he was dating the Zazie Beetz character, of course, spoiler alert, all in his head. It's like, did he kill her, or did he let her survive? If you go and kill her so we can say this guy has turned into a complete monster. Same thing with the therapist at the end of the movie. Did he kill her? People saying I didn't get that impression in the movie theater, but they said you saw the blood on his shoes. That meant he killed her. So let's see that. I know maybe that would have sent the wrong message, because you don't want, I guess they were afraid that the general audience would kill their therapist. Maybe there's stuff off the cutting room floor where he did do it, and they had to cut that out of the movie because it would have been too violent. I think they cut maybe some things out. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll know later. But some of the things were, implied violence. It's like, if you're gonna go there, if this is the Joker, he doesn't care. He does it. And one thing that nobody's talking about with this movie that I think is criminally underrated, to me, it was a funny movie. I laughed at least, I want to say 10 times at certain little things in the scene, especially the scene in his apartment. Spoiler alert again, where he kills one of his co-workers, and with the little guy, I'm like, scary, sad, but a lot of that scene hilarious. Of course, when he put the chain on the door and he couldn't reach it. I think that's genius filmmaking, genius artistry, and the movie was shot beautifully, especially all the train scenes. All the train scenes in the movie were shot beautifully. It made you really immersed in his world, and I don't know if anybody's going to see this movie in IMAX, which is what I saw it in. IMAX looks beautiful. You get trained in his life, you get trained in the story, trained in the whole world that he's in. You get to see it. I don't know what it is, but you get to see every inch and edge of his misery. Oh, and he was miserable. There was a scene in the movie where he said, I haven't been happy one day in my life. And that, I guess it's powerful, but who knows how somebody should feel. But I believe, that's a little bit embellished. You got to be happy at least one day. But, I guess that's the message they're trying to portray, that this is not a happy guy. Especially when he found out, he's adopted, what his mother did, and all the things in between. So all I want to say is that this movie was good, but it had a chance to be great. And some people already think it's great. I think it's good, but it's not bad. It just had a chance to be great if they just went all the way. And maybe that's me having expectations of a bunch of violence all over the place. And there wasn't, because I thought there would be more, and I thought it would be, much deeper. But his world, I love how they built the world. I love Bruce Wayne's little introduction, even though he wasn't in the movie long. Obviously you can't do Batman, in this movie Joker's like an old man, but I think there's a chance, just a small chance. Why not, make this young kid grow up and be Batman, so he can remember, well, he's going to remember his parents dying, but it's a shame that we won't see him again, because we only got about 20 to 30 minutes of Joker in this movie. And I think that's the real shame. You can't do another standalone Joker movie with somebody else where he's the Joker the entire movie with a different character. It wouldn't make any sense. And I think that's the sad part, is that, yes, the movie's called Joker, but we only got to see him for 30 minutes. And I hope they do a sequel because it will be warranted. You get to, right now he's locked up in an insane asylum. Let's see how he escapes. Let's see who he manipulates. Maybe he meets a Harley Quinn. Maybe it's something. Who knows who he would meet and how the story would unfold. But I think they have a great opportunity if they want to create something even better. And you're not justifying violence. You're not justifying it. You're telling his story. And to see where he goes next, and to see maybe he gets into it with another Batman villain. Why does it need to be Batman? Maybe it's the police. Maybe it's Jim Gordon. Who knows? But I find it, young Jim Gordon. I thought this movie was good. And maybe it was great. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. But it wasn't bad. And I think a lot of people, you know, if you're listening to this review, when you see it, you'll find out that it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to seem. There's nothing that's going to haunt you. It does shed a light on mental illness and different aspects of how people's mind work, and medication and all the things that, you know, society would need. And it did put a big light on society and how people are treated. Thomas Wayne said, if you can't, you know, get yourself out of the dirt, then, you know, you're all clowns. I think they really over embellished that whole line because, you know, if you know the comics, Batman's father doesn't talk like that but I understand why they had to make somebody like a crux, like a small villain in the Joker's mind, especially the Waynes. I think it's beautifully done how he told that story, how you brought in Bruce Wayne's father. Imagine if it was just a regular politician, it wouldn't have meant much, especially when you think that Bruce Wayne's father is his father. And for a small part of the movie, you're thinking, oh my God, these motherfuckers are brothers? Batman and Joker are brothers? That would be amazing. An amazing plot twist to the story. But his mother ended up being psycho, you know, crazy, and all the things that she did, and she's not the best person. So, you know, another spoiler, what he did to his mother in the hospital scene shocked the entire audience. But, you know, it's the Joker. He's not as you see, he's deepening in his madness, so he's not scared to do it. He's already lost his mind. He's already getting on the edge. And I thought, and I don't know if anybody's going to say this, I thought the music was beautifully done. I was very surprised that they gave him superhero, I'm about to grab my costume music. There's one point in the movie, especially when it's raining and he's brooding and you see the turn about to happen, you just see the music is building up like he's like Iron Man about to put on his suit in Avengers Infinity War when he taps his chest. And I remember being in the movie theaters and the crowd goes wild. I was surprised that they did that, because that could have a negative effect. Like, you want him to win and get back at his enemies, but you're like, this is the Joker, he's psychotic. So I'm surprised they did it, but I think it was genius. You see somebody slowly turning, you see his mind going in different places, and you give him that music, the build up, the pain, the anguish. I thought it was beautifully done. And I don't think anybody's going to get any inspiration from this movie. And I'm going to tell you why. And maybe this is the critic's genius, because you're going to go in there expecting something sinister, something eye-popping, and you're not really going to get that. Whatever your expectations for the movie, you didn't get it because the critics gave you such an overwhelming thing that you'll be slightly disappointed that you didn't get what they said that they felt that the movie was giving off. I thought the violence would be crazy, but it wasn't. And I hate to keep bringing that up, but you have a level of expectation, and I think this will calm a lot of people down. It will calm a lot of people down, and I hate to bring another movie into this, but I like this way better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I just wanted to say that because I didn't really like that movie, but I hope I hit on every point. I'm trying to think of something that maybe I missed. I'm going through the movie in my mind. I think it started off well. The hospital scene where he's at the children's hospital and he's dancing and the gun falls out of his pocket, I think is genius. Another part of the movie that was funny. And I think a lot of people saying this movie's dark, it's gritty, but a lot of people in my theater, they laughed at the funny moments. There's funny moments, and there's a little bit of light in the dark and grittiness end of the tunnel. And it is dark and gritty, and it is, as Todd Phillips said, a slow burn. Oh, they burnt it slow, and thing after thing just keeps happening, and you're watching this, and I can see the look on some people's faces in the theater like, my God, is this thing gonna ever end? Until once it picks up, and then you start to get into it. And I think that's where they caught people back, because you can't have a whole movie just being sad. And even though when it picks up, it starts to get sadder and sadder, but there's more action, there's more levity and more things going on. Where I would rate this movie, I would give it what a lot of my favorite YouTuber critics, I give it an A-. It's a good movie. It's not a great one, but it's a really, really good one, but it's not, A+ great, because I think there's more things they could have done. And once again, maybe that's my fault, thinking that there will be more violence and more things. But if it's like 9 out of 10, I think 9 out of 10 would be my rating. Is it a masterpiece? Cinematography wise, yes, I believe it's a masterpiece, because there's little nuggets, little things and scenes that you build the character, that make the character. And once again, he's telling a story, so it's not, who knows what's real or what's not, but I think it's beautiful. I think it is a masterpiece. It could be a masterpiece and still be a good movie, not a great one. And hopefully they get a chance to tell another story. And I know Joaquin Phoenix probably won't do it, because you got to lose all that weight again. But I hope the movie does well. And I think even kids can see this movie. It's not that bad, maybe everybody should see this movie. It's really not that bad. You're just watching somebody go through a very tough couple weeks, but you get to learn and understand who they are. This is my Joker review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for stopping by the channel.